My wife and I thought a threesome would spice up our marriage, but now she's divorcing me, and her best friend is carrying my child. How did one night of adventure turn into a nightmare that might destroy my entire life? So we met each other 8 years ago, married 4 years ago, and we used to have a great marriage. So we had our ups and downs, but we always solved any issue and never let a day pass before amend things between us. So we were happy. The last year we started to be more adventurous in the bedroom. After an event on our family, Lady decided to let go her shyness and to live every single thing she could think, and that ended up in her becoming creative on the bedroom. We tried everything that caught our attention. If we see something at TV or read about it, we tried it. We had so much fun together. After trying something she was very curious to try, she let me choose something to do. She told me to choose something you ever wanted to try but never had the chance. I stupidly told her I always wondered how it would be to be with 2 girls. She agreed and started to plan a threesome. I still regret that moment. We ended up choosing a girl we know, Abby, a friend of her from her job. She is the type of girl that believes on energies, crystals, vibes, etc. of a spirit girl, and she is nice to hang around. We told her, and she ended up accepting. We choose her because we knew it was very probable she will accept. But we also choose her because physically she is very different from my wife. While she is small, with pale skin, short hair and little button breasts, not saying she is ugly, she is very cute. My wife have tan skin, long beautiful hair and a great body. So the idea was that this way there would not be insecurities about me comparing them, or that I would prefer her. So, we said it, she came to our place, and we spent the night together. And I regret it. Even if those hours were great at the moment, I would do anything to get back to that night and stop everything. The following days everything was great. Letty was happy that I liked it, and Abby keep it private, so it was like another perfect adventure for us. Then after a few days Letty started to become distant, sleeping at the other side of the bed, not wanting me to kiss or hug her, not even cuddling. At first she said it was because she was tired, but after insisting she told me it was due to the threesome. She told me that, even if she had fun that night, now she was feeling awful, cheated, used, that the image of me making love to another woman was burned on her mind. She wasn't comfortable with me near to her. We tried talking about it, even got into counseling. I tried everything to make her sure I only love her, that it was just a fantasy that would never happen again. And then Abby called me. Her period was delayed, and she believed she could be pregnant. That killed my marriage. My wife moved out from our house and had asked for divorce. She said she can't be near to me, knowing that another woman is pregnant with my child is too much for her. She can't even see me. No matter what I do or say, for her it's over. Meanwhile, Abby took a test, and she was indeed pregnant. I still don't know how it happened. I use protection all the time, even checked it after using it, and still she is pregnant. Abby is 100% sure the baby is mine. She says that before me she hasn't done it with anyone else in months, and she is so sure about it, that she offered to make a DNA test when the baby is born, just to clear any doubts. I feel like I fucked up all my life. Letty is the love of my life, and she doesn't want to see me. Abby is not a bad friend at all, but she is the type of person you can only take on small doses, and now I'm bounded to her forever. She want to keep the baby, and want me to be part of the baby's life. Sometimes I want to just disappear, and things. I'm desperate, my life is falling apart for that stupid mistake. I don't know what to do. Edit. Thank you all for the comments. There's so much, so I thought it would be better to answer here. Just to make clear some things most of you are pointing. 1. I use condom. 2. The threesome wasn't something we did in a rush. We took our time on planning it, talked a lot and confirmed multiple times if we were really sure, and all the time we both were on it. 3. We didn't jump straight into adding a third one. Long time before that we started experimenting, playing and being kinky. This was just another thing to try. No one was pressured into it. On the moment I just said it because I couldn't think on anything else. I was surprised when she said we could try it. 4. Abortion is not an option here. Abby wants the baby. 5. As much of you saw, English isn't my first language, sorry for my errors. 6. I talked with Abby, she is more than willing to take a DNA test. You do not have to wait until after the child is born. Tommy Chong-un, Abby is kind of an idiot for wanting him to be a part of the kid's life. She accidentally conceived during a threesome with a married couple like. Be fucking for real, girl. Sam D, that poor kid is going to be confused when they learn how they were conceived. Inca 18, threesomes is something you do only when you are single. The amount of cases I've seen here daily like yours is insane. 3. Some inside relationships always lead to breaking up. You never do that shit with people you work with. Also, he acted like she wasn't attractive, but his description of her made her sound very attractive. Update. Hello. Some had sent me messages asking for an update, and I think I can give one. Abby and I took the test. I'm the father. She is open to do another test after the I want to be sure, but as things seems to be is my baby. At first I took it the worst way possible. I kept torturing myself for being such an idiot, and reading some of the comments made me realize that I'm the biggest stupid for asking my wife to add another girl to our bedroom. Abby and I talked after the test. She is keeping the baby. She wants to be a mom, and want me to be a father for the baby. She told me that she didn't expect me to start living with her and get married, just to take charge of the responsibilities that will come with the baby, and to get along and be good friends for the baby. She had also apologized for how things had developed, saying that she never wanted to hurt me or Letty, her intention was to just have fun, but that she is grateful and excited for the baby. She and I are on good terms now. I'm still not totally comfortable with her, and she's saying that if I can't save my marriage and end up divorcing my wife, she wouldn't mind having fun with me again. Makes me doubt about her real intentions. On the other side, my wife hasn't started the divorce yet. She moved back and we have talked. At first she was so angry at me, and I let her do and say all she needed. Every insult and name, I earned it. Then she got very sad. We cried together as she told me she still loves me. She said she can't live without me, but can't live with me either after what happened. The threesome is not the problem anymore. Now is about me having a baby with Abby. And it's hard though, both are confused and scared and still don't know if we will get over this. But the thing that had me even more confused is that recently, my wife's libido had grown. For moments she asks for intimacy, and right after wants space. She wants to be kinky and do the things we used to try, to play, and right after she go to another room. I've asked her and she said she don't know why she does it. She just feel that she needs it. She is still insecure about us, about what we are, where we are. Divorce is still on the table, so we are stuck. I would like to do what to do, but I don't know what is the right thing or how to solve this. I know I'll have to be responsible for the baby, but I want to save my marriage too. Comments bitter_animator 2514. I'd be very careful and cautious with Abby. With those comments, hope Letty and you are healing. Frickin' ruined up. That is what I'm thinking. Don't fully trust her. Humanity is bizarre. Cut her off. Except you need to pay child support, but otherwise distance yourself as much as possible, otherwise this will tank any chance of you staying married. Womb_Alana_Shepherd. I'm not jumping to Abby, baby trapped you. But her behavior now is throwing major red flags. Talk to a lawyer. Get custody plans drawn up and ready to go. Get another test at birth, and then put those plans into action. As to what the plans should be, that's up to you and your wife. Whatever they are, they should keep your wife and Abby far, far apart. I suspect Abby may attempt to sabotage your marriage to free you up for fun and dad time. Frickin' ruined up, thanks. In looking for it. Generative Poterun, if I may, you should move away with your wife. Adding a baby that's not hers and forcing her to see the reminder of your actions is going to destroy whatever's left of your marriage. Provide child support but keep your distances. Demand Abby only communicates with you through a lawyer. She clearly has no good intentions. The official Sippy, I don't understand people, man. I don't. You have a wife, someone who's there for an active sex life. Why the fuck would you think a threesome is such a good idea? Let alone include someone or a married too, and tell them to have a threesome. Are y'all that sexually uncontrollable? Play stupid games, win stupid prizes, my friend. Time to think before your actions. We are humans and we make mistakes, but there's a line which you shouldn't cross. You crossed it, got your marriage fucked up, made a random B.I.C. pregnant who wants to keep the baby. What else would you need in life, right? I'm sorry, but if ye are unable to maintain a private intimate relationship with someone, and wants so much more in sexual fantasy, ye are better off being single and doing your shit without including a loved one. Order 690 bro, used condoms and such and kept changing condoms. How did she get pregnant? Now if the DNA is yours, it's yours, but if you guys plan it all good and properly. I don't see in any of your messages anywhere of you actually looking, searching and trying to find out how or when she got pregnant. Where did you throw the condoms? Where were you guys after the threesome? Where was she after the threesome and the threesome take place? Did all of you stay over? Did you just throw the condoms in a bin? Or did you wash and flush them? Yeah, I am gonna hear about don't flush blah blah blah. Yeah, I don't care about that at this point. I want answers. The fact she just out of freaking nowhere wants baby, wants you to be part of it, wants you to be active and etc. Her buddy don't know what to tell you. But she is not exactly looking for friendship. So this chick has actively been interested in you and she is doing everything to replace your wife, subtly. If she cannot have you, she doesn't mind having to share you with said wife, but she def wants to keep you close. So let me ask you another question. During the threesome, how active or interested was she in your wife? How much time did she invest in her? How much more did she do? Also great that you use condoms and whatnot, but if you use condoms only on her, but you did end up busting in your wife, chances are if they went scissoring could have caused it. If you busted a load on your wife's face and she ended up fully going down on Abby, that is also another way of having it happen. I am just throwing some things out there. Sorry if I am being graphical or whatever. I am just curious and also questioning why you or no one has actually wondered or questioned how it's possible she got pregnant. Frickin' ruined up. We used condoms every time. One of the doctors told me that is very rare, but condoms can fail. It needs a little, even microscopical, hole that is unnoticed and a lot of bad luck, but it's possible. I throw the used condoms on the room's trash bin. It would be impossible for her to take them without us noticing. It happened on our room and we stayed a little on the bed after we were done, After that we dressed and went to the kitchen for coffee, and after that she left. I don't know what are her real intentions, but I'm definitely not going to be with her. I'll take charge of my responsibilities as a father, but just that. There wasn't many interaction between them, it was more both focused on me. The only things they did was when I asked them to kiss, and when I was doing it with my wife, Abby was touching her body. Beside that, they barely interacted between them. Now on to the next story. Story 2. Wife was acting strange when I went on a 3-month work trip. Later when I came back I found someone's socks under our bed and discovered her secret affair, so I took my ultimate revenge. I, 33 male, met my wife, 31 female, 8 years ago on a dating app. At the time, neither of us was looking for anything serious. We were both young and we wanted to make the best of our youth while we could. But then we fell for each other, and all of that went out the window. We wanted to be with each other all the time and things quickly got serious. I knew before she and I even met that my wife was polyamorous. At the time it wasn't something I cared much about. I just went into our relationship thinking it was going to be a casual, fun time. I was definitely curious about what that was, and how that worked in her life, but personally, I've always been monogamous. My wife told me one day when things started to get serious that for the first time in years, she was only thinking about one person, and that was me. There was a bit of a disconnect between us when we first started exclusively dating, because I felt like I was taking something away from her through monogamy. However, she assured me that it was what she wanted. We had some ups and downs and we were able to work it out to be together. Eventually I proposed to her and we got married. Some of the people in my family were not at all understanding of polyamory, and they were practically betting that I would end up getting divorced. Before I was with my wife, I didn't know much about it and I might have thought the same thing, but she explained everything to me in such a way that I understood what it was, and I trusted that should she ever have any issues with monogamy that she would come to me and we could talk about them. About 3 years into our marriage, I got the opportunity of a lifetime for work. It required me to travel abroad for 3 months to do some on-site filming for an advertising agency. They were pretty much paying me to travel all over Asia and visit some of the best tourist sites and take pictures. All expenses paid, hotels, meals, airfare, everything you can think of. After a long discussion with my wife, we decided that it was too good of an opportunity to pass up and I agreed to take it. Of course, that meant that she would be alone back home while I was away. Except for 1 week when she would be meeting me in Tokyo since our schedules aligned. I said goodbye to her and I set off on my grand adventure. I had a great time. Every night I would FaceTime with my wife and we would catch up. I had no fears that anything was going to happen while I was away. One night I called her for FaceTime around 5 p.m. while I was in Thailand. That was around 8 a.m. in our time zone. Our typical call schedule had been just like that. I would call her in the evening when I got finished with all of my things, and she was usually drinking coffee in the kitchen when I did. However, this time she didn't answer. At first I figured that she must have slept late or forgotten to set her alarm. But deep down I knew that was not like her at all. She had always been the kind of person to wake up at 7 a.m. on the dot without even needing an alarm to do so. Still, I didn't suspect that she was with someone else. I just texted her and told her that I missed her and loved her, and I would give her a call the next morning since we would both be busy and or asleep. When I was finally able to get on the phone with her again, I asked her about what happened. It wasn't an accusatory question, it was more of curiosity since it just wasn't like her. She got defensive with her answer. She made it sound like I was insinuating something when I wasn't by any means. I ended the call before an argument started. That was the last thing I wanted while I was trying to enjoy myself, but I couldn't shake the feeling that there was something more to her reaction that I didn't know about. Eventually we made up and everything was fine leading up to her visiting me in Tokyo. She got off the plane and I was at the airport to pick her up. I was excited to see her, she was my wife and I loved her, and I missed her. It had only been 2 weeks since I last saw her, but the first thing I wanted to do was just go back to the hotel room and be intimate with her. When we got there, she told me she wasn't in the mood because she was a little bit jet-lagged from the flight. I completely understood where she was coming from, so I didn't want to pressure her into doing anything, so we both just laid down and talked for a while. Throughout the rest of the week, every time I would try to initiate something with her, she would come up with a reason to reject it. Whenever she would end it, I wouldn't ask any questions or try to pressure her to give me answers about why she didn't want to sleep with me. It did strike me as odd because she has always been the type of person who was eager to have intimacy. The Tokyo trip ended for her and I still had 1 week left on my journey. It flew by and I couldn't wait to get home because I could feel that there was some distance growing between my wife and me. Everything seemed normal when I got there, but she still wasn't wanting to sleep with me. After the first couple of days I was back, she started staying late at work and it honestly felt like she was actively avoiding me. At that point I had let a lot of my insecurities about what was going on with our relationship pile up and I confronted her about it when she returned home. She told me that I was being obnoxious with my accusations. In fact, she ended up guilt-tripping me for why she was staying late at work. She told me it was because she had to take time off work to visit me in Tokyo as I pressured her to do. We got into a huge argument about that, and I ended up sleeping on the couch. Just the following day, which happened to be a Saturday, she told me she had to go to work for some last-minute troubleshooting at the office. In all the time we had been together, she had never worked a Saturday. I think it was at that point that I really thought something was going on. All the time that we had been together, we had never had any issues with her polyamory. But as soon as I started to think that something was wrong, it popped its head right up. I couldn't help but wonder if she had taken advantage of the time that I was gone and slept with another person. For a while, I convinced myself that I was just exaggerating and purposefully trying to hurt my feelings by thinking things like that. I distracted myself by trying to clean up some of the house. Ast was looking under our bed to pull out any old clothes or trash, etc. I found a sock. It was only one sock, but it wasn't mine, I knew that. And it wasn't the type of sock that my wife wore. It was someone else's sock who didn't live in my house. That was the push that I needed to seriously consider that my wife was in fact cheating on me. I went to her office and looked through her desktop to see if there were any indications of who it was with, or what she was doing while she was supposedly at work. There was no indication from any of her recent emails that she needed to go into the office for any reason. So that helped me realize that she had already lied to me. Her inbox seemed clean, but when I looked over her desktop and clicked on her recycle bin, I found some pictures and videos that she had deleted but hadn't cleared. My heart completely sank when I saw that. I recognized the man in the pictures right away. He was one of her co-workers. I had met him a few times at company gatherings and I always thought he was a bit chummy with my wife. I would make jokes about it with her, and she would just laugh it off with me and tell me that he was married too, so I had nothing to worry about. I guess they both saw a prime opportunity to cheat on their partners while I was out of town. I emailed myself the evidence and immediately began looking for a divorce attorney. Right away I started thinking of a way to get back at both of them for their betrayal. Knowing that my wife was cheating on me with one thing, but the fact that she was cheating on me with a married man and ruining 2 relationships knowingly was like a slap in the face. I looked her co-worker up on social media, and found his wife pretty easily. I sent her a message asking if we could set up a time to speak face to face since I had some news to share about her husband. She probably assumed the worst right away, but she agreed to meet me at a cafe. I saw her world crumbling when I told her and I felt terrible. I felt the exact same way. I didn't want to let either of them just get away with their affair when they ruined both of our lives, needed to come up with some way to get back at them. I spent the next few weeks pretending like everything was alright with my wife, and I encouraged the partner of her co-worker to do the same. We both planned on leaving our spouses, but we wanted to get everything in order first. So both of us were going to surprise them with our divorce papers on the same day so neither of them would have time to prepare. When everything was done, I brought my wife out to a lovely restaurant. She thought I was surprising her with a nice date. Toward the end of the meal she asked me what prompted the gesture, so I figured I might as well tell her. I pulled out the papers and slid them across the table to her. She was shocked and hysterical. She tried to contain herself, but really it was quite the scene. Other diners were watching us while she started crying. I explained why and told her I saw the pictures and I wasn't going to be with a cheater. She tried to tell me I was misinterpreting them, and that she hadn't cheated, but I didn't believe it. I just left the restaurant, leaving her to pick up the bill. We got divorced and now we're living separately, and have no contact with each other at all. Funnily enough, her co-worker's wife actually messaged me one day and asked to get together. We kind of hit it off. Things are still complicated because the wounds are so fresh, but there could be something there.